Tonight, a Cebu lawmaker pushes for an investigation of the Ako Bicol party list after its representative Zaldico resigned over corruption allegations. The Philippine Senate Blue Ribbon Committee says it will summon ex-House Speaker Martin Romualdez and resign Congressman Zaldico to their next hearing on public works corruption. The Philippine Armed Forces dismisses as baseless alleged efforts to destabilize the Marcos Jr. government. And the Philippine government deploys air assets to deliver food to families isolated by severe tropical storm Opong. Good evening, I'm Tony Velasquez. On our broadcast tonight, a call to investigate the Philippine party list group of resigned Congressman Zaldico, one of the key figures in a massive public works kickback scandal. A House lawmaker sought the probe of the Ako Bicol party list and warned it could be disqualified for serving as an alleged vehicle of abuse. Vivian Gulia has tonight's top story.
A House lawmaker seeks an investigation into Ako Bicol party list following the allegations hounding resigned lawmaker Zaldico. Cebu 5th District Representative Vincent Duque Frasco also says Co's resignation should neither absolve him nor the Ako Bicol party list, which he called a vehicle through which Co allegedly abused public funds. Frasco argued if consequences are limited only to a nominee, Congress sets a dangerous precedent that members can violate rules, resign, and leave their party untouched. But Ako Bicol party list representative Alfredo Garbin Jr. asserts Frasco's impunity allegation against Ako Bicol rests on conjecture rather than fact, as he maintained that their party list remains untainted and justice, not political noise, will determine the truth. He adds the Party List System Act defines party list organizations as separate juridical entities from their nominees. Garbin says to punish Ako Bicol for unproven allegations against one nominee would not only contravene the principle of separate juridical personality, but also disenfranchise the millions of Bicolanos who vested their trust in Ako Bicol.
Ako Bicol party list stands united behind him, lalong-lalo nito in this most difficult time. And we call on the public to, give Kong Zaldico the due process which he is entitled to as lahat ng allegations sa kanya.
Meantime, companies allegedly linked to Co tried to deregister 3 choppers from the Philippines, according to DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon. But authorities supposedly foiled the attempt.
Ang pagkakasabi sa akin ng kaap, kaya yun dinideregister ay may plano silang ibenta. Dahil hindi mo maibebenta at hindi maibibili, mabibili ng gustong bumili nun kung hindi i-deregister sa Pilipinas. Ang maganda, napigilan natin yung pag-deregister. At may standing order na ang kaap na lahat ng air assets na in-identify natin, hindi pwedeng i-deregister.
House Speaker Faustino Bojidi III, for his part, gave assurances the House will fully cooperate with authorities to help bring Co back to the Philippines to face the allegations against him. Malacanang, meanwhile, issued this advice to Co.
Hindi niya ito maiiwasan. Hindi niya po ito matatakbuhan. So mas maganda po rito kung siya man po ay masasampa ng kaso, ipaglaban na lang niya ang kanyang karapatan at ipaglaban ang katotohanan na naaayon sa kanyang mga ebidensya.
Ako Bicol third nominee attorney John Almario Chan is expected to replace Co as the party list's representative, according to Garbin. He says Ako Bicol will issue a resolution on the matter and inform the Commission on Elections within the week. The Party List Coalition Foundation, Inc. at the House of Representatives is also set to meet next week to elect Co's replacement as its president. Vivian Gulia, ABS-CBN News.
Former Philippine House Speaker Martin Romualdez and resigned party list Congressman Zaldico will be asked to face the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee and defend themselves against allegations they received kickbacks from flood control projects. More in this report.
After 6 hearings on the flood control scandal, the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee is finally inviting resigned Ako Bicol Representative Zaldico. Ko, who was then Appropriations Committee chairman, had a huge say in the approval of the national budget at the level of the House of Representatives. Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chair and Senate President pro tempore Panfilo Lacson explained that if Ko doesn't show up, the committee might order his arrest.
Aside from that warrant, kung lalabasan siya ng warrant from coming from the courts as a result of the cases being filed by DOJ, then marami siyang kinakaharap na warrants.
The panel will also invite former Speaker Martin Romualdez, who was Ko's boss, but it will be coursed through Speaker Faustino Bojedi III due to interparliamentary courtesy. Lacson gives assurances that he is not covering up for anyone, noting that they will be guided by evidence. He also said they will not stop the investigation or else they will be accused of a cover-up. On Monday, former Senate President Francis Escudero pointed out that accountability has so far eluded congressmen.
Wala pong naniniwala. Bagkus lahat nagtatanong, bakit walang congressman nakasama sa investigasyon?
The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee has yet to set the date for another hearing. Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Alan Peter Cayetano echoed Vice President Sara Duterte's answer when asked if institutions are still stable amid allegations of massive corruption. For Cayetano, each scandal weakens the institutions meant to guide and protect the public. Lacson admits his own colleagues have been worried over revelations most of them have insertions in the budget, which has been found to be fueling anomalies in government infrastructure projects. The senator maintains his statements are not intended to put the whole Senate on the spot or single out anyone. Senate President Vicente Soto III and Senator J.V. Ejercito have also clarified that amendments or insertions are part of the regular budget process. Soto calls it unfortunate that issues on ghost projects have generalized all amendments as illegal or improper. Ejercito also points out amendments are not tainted as long as there is no post-enactment intervention.
The independent commission investigating Philippine Public Works corruption reportedly hears tell-all testimony from the Diskaya couple at the forefront of the scandal. Johnson Manabad reports.
It was the turn of government contractors Pearly and Sara Diskaya to face the Independent Commission for Infrastructure and bear details of supposed corruption in flood control projects. According to Diskaya's lawyer, the couple was ready to tell all.
Sabi ng spouse ni Diskaya, enough is enough. Ano pa bang hinihingi yung sinseridad ng mag-asawa? Lahat to, binibigay na ho namin. Kagaya nga ng sinabi sa akin ni Mr. Diskaya na kung mananahimik siya, wala siyang gagawin at magpapatuloy ng ganitong korupsyon, mas maganda na lang magsalita siya kahit mamatay na siya, meron siyang silbi sa lipunan.
Attorney Cornelio Samaniego III declined to reveal details of the couple's testimony before the ICI in Taguig, but notes that lawmakers or government officials tainted by corruption in the flood control mess are contained in their sworn affidavits. For now, the Diskayas whose construction companies bag juicy flood control projects are currently covered by the protective custody of the Department of Justice. When asked if the Diskayas will also turn over their luxury vehicles as a sign of good faith, similar to the actions of dismissed Public Works engineer Bryce Hernandez, the lawyer said their assets are already the subject of a freeze order of the Anti-Money Laundering Council.
Wala ho kami isusolim muna kasi na-freeze nga yung account eh. Financially constrained sila ngayon. Pero wala ho, na-freeze yung mga bank accounts nila eh.
So lahat ba yun?
Lahat ng bank accounts nila.
On Tuesday, the Independent Commission for Infrastructure and the Anti-Money Laundering Council signed a memorandum of agreement to strengthen the cooperation among agencies in the ongoing probe of anomalous flood control projects.
The signing of this memorandum of agreement, the AMLC expresses its full support for the ICI. This will strengthen interagency collaboration and ensure that questionable projects are examined from all angles. The AMLC will uncover money laundering and other related unlawful activities.
Meanwhile, Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon introduces his new team who will help him clean up the agency. 5 new undersecretaries have taken their oath of office Tuesday. Among them is retired Police General Arthur Bisnar, who will serve as Undersecretary for Regional Operations. Also appointed is retired police officer and former Bureau of Immigration Intelligence Chief Charles Calima Jr., who now takes on the role of Undersecretary for Special Concerns. Meanwhile, R.A. Perez, Dizon's longtime colleague at the Bases Conversion and Development Authority, has been designated as Undersecretary for Operations in charge of convergence projects and technical services. He will also be in charge of the maintenance of roads.
Our goal really is to make sure that these projects that are not finished will be finished. Not up to the specs. The mga projects will be repaired, reconstructed.
Dizon also brought in legal experts, including Attorney Ricardo Bernabe III, who used to serve as National Police Commission Commissioner, and Samuel Turgano, who now heads the DPWH Legal Services.
Happy din ako na hindi na ako nag-iisa. Kilala ko sila. Kailangan syempre trusted. At the same time, it's a good mix of technical people.
Johnson Manabat, ABS-CBN News.
An administration spokesperson accuses Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte of trying anew to discredit President Marcos Jr. by claiming a flood control corruption scandal will flow back to Malacanang. Katrina Domingo reports.
Siya naman po ay abogado, so dapat malaman niya kung ano ba ang pagkakaiba ng na-mention at ang conviction.
This is how Malacanang clapped back at Vice President Sara Duterte's recent pronouncement linking the president's cousin, later Representative Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, to a 2023 case in Delaware, United States that claimed that the former House Speaker allegedly interfered in a casino giant's case pending before the Philippine Supreme Court. The administration spokesperson echoed the statement issued by the ex-House Speaker that Romualdez was never investigated, nor was he a party to the case.
Nakita po natin to pero wala rin pong mention na si Speaker Romualdez or si Representative Romualdez ay guilty. Siya po mismo, ang Vice Presidente ay na-mention din sa mga di umano-anomalya na transaksyon. Dapat po ba natin siyang husgahan? Katulad ng ginagawa niya ngayon sa ibang mga mambabatas.
In a statement released on September 30, Duterte also questioned the president's supposed flawed judgment over the change in leadership in the Senate and in the House of Representatives, as well as the creation of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, which she thinks is far from being independent. But Malacanang labeled the second-in-command's allegations as another diversionary tactic and reminded her about the separation of powers of different branches of government. The independence of the fact-finding body has been in question amid its refusal to make public its investigations and interrogations of public officials and contractors who have been tagged in the Public Works corruption scandal. Castro points out the president respects the processes of the commission. The palace adds Duterte cannot implicate Marcos in corruption-riddled flood control projects since it was the president who opened the floodgates and provided data for the public to examine all flood control projects in the last 3 years. According to Castro, this is more than how the previous administration handled the Pharmaly scandal, which involved the procurement of overpriced face masks and other medical supplies from a small company that supposedly sold billions worth of substandard pandemic supplies to the Department of Health.
Hindi po malilinis ng Vice Presidente ang mga akusasyon, hindi lamang akusasyon, kundi pag-amin ng kanyang ama mismo tungkol sa pagnanakaw sa pondo ng bayan. So wag niya pong ipahid kung ano man ang nangyari noong nakaraang panahon at ng administrasyon sa Pangulo na ngayon na siya mismo nagpapaimbestiga na maanumalyang flood control projects.
While the creation of the Independent Commission was welcomed by various sectors, lawmakers want the body to have enough powers to do its job effectively. Partlist lawmaker Laila de Lima says House Speaker Faustino Boji D. III has committed to ask the president to certify as urgent House Bill 4453 that seeks to further strengthen the commission.
Kulang ho talaga ang powers ngayon ng ICI. Yung sakop nila, yung compulsive reach nila hanggang sa executive department lang. Wala sa iba. Wala sa mga constitutional bodies. Wala rin sa mga private organizations. Wala sa mga contractors. So paano yan?
Amid the political bickering, the president urged vice governors in the country to reform the government to regain the public's trust.
The unscrupulous abuse of power and greed must come to an end. Dismayado ang maraming Pilipino dahil sa mga patong-patong na isyong lumulunod sa kanilang araw-araw. Reforming our government is the only way we have to win back the trust of our people.
The president says all government officials and workers need to abide by their responsibilities and provide concrete solutions to curb corruption. Katrina Domingo, ABS-CBN News.
The businessman alleged to have been a conduit for public works kickbacks to Philippine Senator Francis Escudero steps down as an independent director of a property firm. Maynard Ngu resigned from Altus Property Ventures Incorporated days after former public works official Roberto Bernardo told a Senate inquiry that he gave him 160 million pesos in kickbacks that were to be delivered to Escudero. A disclosure submitted by Altus to the stock exchange merely said Ngu resigned for personal reasons. The National Bureau of Investigation has recommended graft, indirect bribery, and malversation charges against Ngu, Escudero, and 19 others for the alleged theft of flood control funds. Ngu was appointed by President Marcos Jr. in 2023 as special envoy to China for trade, investments, and tourism. The Philippine Armed Forces dismisses rumors of a military plot to overthrow the government. Former military officials are denying involvement in the supposed ouster plot. Bianca Dava reports.
The armed forces of the Philippines vowed it will not sit idly by amid disinformation and alleged destabilization efforts, asserting that the military remains intact, professional, and loyal to the chain of command and the Constitution. AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla on Tuesday said rumors of military plots against the government are baseless and only aim to sow unrest among Filipinos.
Meron daw pong mga plot na sinasabi dyan. Klaro po, wala po itong katotohanan. Disinformation lamang po ito.
Philippine Navy Inspector General Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad echoed this stance, warning against disinformation campaigns and efforts to draw the military into unconstitutional acts that could be exploited by foreign actors seeking to weaken the country's security posture. Trinidad also warned of legal actions against retired military officers who are calling for armed rebellion amid growing public anger over corruption in government.
The question to ask is, who stands to benefit if we have an unstable government? I think the answer is clear.
Retired Lieutenant General Edelberto Adan, former AFP Deputy Chief of Staff, has disavowed the supposed involvement of the Association of General and Flag Officers Incorporated from destabilization calls, saying only a smaller group of former officers may be behind them.
Yung mga retiradong nasabi na lihis ang kanilang pananaw na tumatawag ng activities or actions that border on defying the Constitution or violating the Constitution, yan ay hindi sinusuportahan ng karamihan ng ating retirado, including the AGFO.
Adan reminded fellow retired officers that while they may now speak freely, legal consequences still await those pushing for destabilization. Meanwhile, former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV advised security agencies to continue being vigilant amid destabilization rumors.
That it's an active threat at pag nagkaroon ng political opportunity yung mga nagpaplano niyan, baka mangyari yan. Meron din naman mga well-meaning PMA retirees na talaga naghahangad ng pagbabago. So valid naman yung grievances na yon. Pero merong mga nagte-take advantage noon.
The AFP spokesperson, however, reiterated that despite the noise, loyalty checks within the military are unnecessary. Former National Police Chief and now Senator Ronald De La Rosa said former uniformed personnel are frustrated with the current state of the country, recalling that some of them staged a protest outside Camp Aguinaldo during the anti-corruption rallies on September 21st. While De La Rosa maintains government is stable, the concerns raised by the ex-military personnel should be addressed.
Any form of dissatisfaction, however significant it may be, if it snowballs into something bigger, then it will constitute a threat. Di ba?
But right now,
Kung hindi yan ma-address, magkakaproblema tayo dyan.
In a separate interview, Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. pointed out that the AFP is not the solution to everything, considering that the country's current problem is political corruption. The defense chief also dared groups calling for President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s resignation to launch a referendum instead.
Magpa-referendum kayo kung yan ang panawagan ng taong bayan. At hindi na ba tayo natuto kapag nag-intervene ng military, hindi maganda ang kinalalabasan?
Teodoro stressed the country needs to strengthen its institutions. Bianca Dava, ABS-CBN News.
We're taking a short break. We'll have more stories when the World Tonight returns.
Ang kwento ng ating paglilingkod ay tuloy-tuloy na pag-aambag ng kabutihan sa bayan. At maraming paraan upang lahat tayo ay makatulong. Bisitahin ang abs-cbnfoundation.org/donate upang makapagbahagi sa misyon na ating itinataguyod. Mula sa pagsusulong ng edukasyon, pangangalaga sa kabataan, pagprotekta sa kalikasan, paglikha ng mga kabuhayan, hanggang sa paghahanda at pagbangon mula sa kalamidad. Lahat tayo tulong-tulong in the service of the Philippines.
We're back on The World Tonight. Lawyers for detained ex-Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte give the International Criminal Court medical records that supposedly prove he is unfit to stand trial. His chief defense lawyer, Nicholas Kaufman, says the new records corroborate the previous findings of another doctor. The claim was dismissed by former Philippine Senator Antonio Trillanes, who had filed a supplemental complaint at the ICC against Duterte.
Meron silang medical team dun sa loob, tapos merong ambulansya naka-standby sa labas, yung hospital 5 minutes away. Kahit na anong medical emergency, sinisiguradong makakapag-responde. Tapos meron access si Duterte sa kanyang pamilya 24/7 sa telepono. Tapos wala ding limit ang bisita kay Duterte. Kaya re-reviewin nyo yung mga interview nila tuwing bumibisita sila kay Duterte. Malalaman nyo na okay yung kalagayan, maganda yung usapan. Then suddenly, ngayon may historical na 3 beses na hinimatay.
Meanwhile, the ICC prosecutor continues to argue against Duterte's interim release. It asserts that if granted, Duterte would be a flight risk and is likely to interfere with the proceedings and could commit further crimes. Detained Philippine televangelist Apollo Quiboloy is hospitalized once again for pneumonia. The prison's bureau says Quiboloy was brought to a government hospital on September 11. He is reportedly now in stable condition. Quiboloy was previously hospitalized for pneumonia in January. He has been detained at the Pasig City Jail since November last year while awaiting trial on charges of child abuse and qualified human trafficking. At least 18 people in the Philippine province of Masbate are confirmed killed in the onslaught of severe tropical storm Opong. Toppled power lines are hindering vehicle convoys from delivering relief supplies. Food packs were sent via helicopter to affected families. Opong affected over 150,000 individuals in the island province. The Philippine Stock Exchange closed out September with losses due to the lack of market-moving news and disappointing trade figures. The details from Michelle Ong.
Asian shares rose less than 1% Tuesday, posting a sixth consecutive month of gains, the longest winning streak since 2018. Asian Development Bank also today trimming its growth outlook for developing Asia and the Pacific, citing the emergence of a new global trade environment shaped by tariffs and updated trade agreements. While it also slashed growth forecasts for the Philippines, which it says will grow 5.6% this year and 5.7% next year. Here at home, Philippine shares extend their decline. The index down for a third straight month, this time by 3.3%, down for the quarter by 6.5%, and down 8.8% year to date.
There's nothing to hang on the market. It's not operating on corporate fundamentals. It's not operating on macro fundamentals. It's not operating on politics or any of the geopolitical stuff.
Local investors also digested today latest trade numbers showing the Philippines' trade deficit narrows to $3.5 billion in August, the lowest in 6 months, as imports fell nearly 5% year on year, while exports rose by just as much on an annual basis. In corporate stories, Security Bank appoints Singaporean Victor Lee Meng Tek as its next president and chief executive officer. He assumes the role in early January 2026, taking over from Sanjay Vora, who will continue to lead the bank until that time. Vora, who assumed the leadership of the bank just months before the COVID-19 pandemic hit, will then transition to the role of senior advisor to the board. Meanwhile, Philippine regulators clear the first ever move by a company to expand capital through real estate securities. The SEC last week approving Demosoland's rental pool registration under its Real Estate Non-Traditional Securities Program, or SEC Rent. Rental pool deals allow buyers to acquire units and put them under a collective rental program in exchange for getting a share in the developer's profit. In this case, Demosoland will rent out 100 units in its strip condotel in Samal, Davao del Norte, with offer price starting at 50,000 pesos to 100,000 each. And in case you missed it, CLIA Poso Alegre, an off-dock customs bonded facility operated by the ICTSI Group, has relocated to a larger, more modern facility in Minas Gerais, unlocking a more efficient, seamless logistics corridor that offers shipping lines a faster, more competitive option for serving one of Brazil's most dynamic economic regions. Michelle Long, ABS-CBN News.
Our final word tonight is a quote from Stephen King. The trust of the innocent is the liar's most useful tool. And that is the world tonight, the 30th of September 2025. I'm Tony Velasquez. ABS-CBN News Channel is now available for live and on-demand streaming on iWant. From the Philippines, thank you. Mabuhay!